return to the island nation of Singapore, venue of the 12th edition of the AFC Under-17 Championship. This is the first time Singapore's hosting the tournament, while for Tajikistan it was their first time participating in the finals. The boys from Central Asia had been gearing up for their debut in Singapore since their successful qualifying campaign in November last year.
This is our first under-17 tournament, and we're in a very difficult group with Iran, Iraq and Yemen. All of us in the team really want to give our best for our country.
Indeed, the outlook in Group B didn't favour the Central Asians. Yemen were finalists in 2002, while Iran and Iraq were also recognised as favourites to progress from the group. Tajikistan kicked off their maiden under-17 finals campaign against Iraq. Both countries found the going tough at the Bishan Stadium, and a draw was looking likely with every passing minute. Then right on the 90-minute mark, Tajikistan found the breakthrough. Substitute Abdul Qayyum Karabayev securing all 3 points for his country. That's the final score, Tajikistan off to a flyer. The Central Asians were on a high and they carried their winning form against Iran on match day 2. Davrazon Tuktasunov was Tajikistan's hero of the night. The 16-year-old found the target on 13 minutes to give his side the early lead. 10 minutes later, the advantage was 2. Tuktasunov again on the mark for his brace. Iran managed to reduce the deficit, but it finished 2-1 Tajikistan at the Bishan Stadium. Tajikistan in dreamland as they qualify for the quarter-finals in their first ever attempt. The loss to Tajikistan meant Iran needed a point from the encounter against Iraq in their final group match to go through. Iran's Bakhtiar Rahmani firing the warning on 17 minutes. But it was the Iraqis who came closest to breaking the deadlock. Samir Khalaf, though, wasted the golden opportunity from the penalty. It finished goalless, a result which sent Iran into the knockout stages. Tajikistan maintained their giant-killing form in the final group match. They edged Yemen 4-3 to top the group with a 100% record. Iran qualified for the last 8 at the expense of Iraq. Over in Group A, Japan and Korea Republic were overwhelming favourites to make it to the next round ahead of Singapore and Nepal. The Taeguk Warriors justified that tag right from match 1. They put the host nation in their place with goals from Choi Jin-soo. Kim Jong-hung. And Gu Jia-myong to seal the points. The final score to Korea Republic. On match day 2, the Koreans sealed their place in the knockout phase against Nepal. It was again a straightforward result as Seol Jae-mun and substitute Ju Song-hwan put the tie beyond Nepal. Korea Republic clear winners to confirm their place in the last 8. The situation for Japan was a little more complicated. After thrashing Nepal on day 1, the Japanese only managed a point against host Singapore. That meant they needed 1 point from their final group match against Korea Republic to make it through to the quarter-finals. The encounter at the Bishan Stadium turned out to be a classic. Captain Kota Mizunuma gave Japan the start they wanted on 19 minutes. But it was all square again in the 59th minute, courtesy of Jun Song-hwan's strike. Then 8 minutes later, Japan restored their lead through Shohei Otsuka. The Never Say Die Koreans replied on 74 minutes. Ju with his second of the evening to tie things up again. Just when a draw appeared on the cards, up stepped Captain Marvel. Mizunuma finishing a fantastic Japan move to seal the points, and a spot in the last 8 for Japan. That win propelled the Japanese to the top of Group A, just a point ahead of Korea Republic. Here's how the last 2 quarterfinals stack up. Japan taking on Iran, while Tajikistan will look to continue their impressive debut at the expense of Korea Republic. Highlights of all the quarterfinals next week on Football Asia.